Jim Dodson, the Florida Bike Guy. I'm a cycling attorney in Clearwater, but we represent cyclists across Florida. When will it end? Here we are in Tampa Bay. We had a terrible tragedy yesterday involving two cyclists, two committed people committed together in their lives and committed to the sport of cycling. They were experienced tandem riders on a trail, taking the path that is supposed to give us safety when what news reports describe as a drunk or impaired driver crossed over, hit a car coming in the opposite direction, which was knocked into them, even though they were physically separated from the roadway by pretty substantial grass berm. What do we take from that? The driver goes to jail, and the families of these two wonderful people are left to pick up the pieces of their lives. It's just they're doing what they thought they were doing in the safest place possible to do it. When I was a young rider, I met with the executive director of the Florida Freewheelers, and he'd been riding a long time, and I was relatively new to road cycling, but I was new enough to understand there was danger involved in what we do. And I was talking to Scott, and I said, how do you approach this, Scott? And he said, Jim, it's pretty easy. Everything in life we do does have some danger. And I think he's right. Whether you water ski, snow ski, run, walk as a pedestrian, we're all exposed to certain dangers in life. And I think that we have to make a decision when we commit to a sport or undertake an activity. Do we understand that there may be some risk involved in that activity? And I think we accept that. But I think it's so difficult to get your head around the unexpected, the inexplicable criminal act of someone totally out of the blue, which changes the dynamic and takes someone's life unexpectedly, unnecessarily, and tragically. And I think for each of us who ride, while we pour out our hearts, we pray for the families of these two wonderful people. We mourn their loss, and we mourn, kind of the impact that this has on them. And we have to, I think, examine our own lives too. So what do we do? What do we take away from this kind of thing? I think there are people who may say, I'm not going to ride, and I definitely understand that. I can just speak for me. I think that I look at my life, and I've made a decision to pursue a sport that I love. I was chatting with my wife about this morning, and she said, Jim, you and I are going to sit here this morning, have breakfast. We're going to say goodbye to one another. You're going to go off, and I'm assuming you're going to walk back at the end of the day. But there's no guarantee that will happen. Life is uncertain, and everything we do, we encounter unexpected events. So I think for me, it's just that reminder is powerful. I'm committed to do what I love in terms of the sport. I'm committed to help the sport as best that I can in terms of the message of safety and all the things that we talk about. But I'm committed to enjoying each ride, each day, and each relationship that I have been so blessed to have, knowing that there is no guarantee that I'm going to walk back in at the end of the day. But I'm going to commit myself to enjoy and cherish those things and to do what I can do to make my sport as safe as it can be. So our hearts are grieving. We're heavy and lost today for those this wonderful couple that died. But I think it's committed to those who are in this sport to examine our own lives as we move forward as to how we respond. I'm Jim Dodson, the Florida Bike Guy. I'll see you next time.